Hello everyone, and welcome to this 10,000, 20,000 subscriber special, where I answer your questions. This video is long overdue, I know, but we're here now, so let's get to it. First question. Your covers are awesome. Thank you. Number one, when you start to play the guitar. I think that was back in 2004. I had just started high school, and it was this guy in my class who had this really shitty Fender Stratocaster rip-off guitar. He had painted all over it. Sounded terrible, but he let me borrow that guitar and a Marshall jackhammer pedal, which I would just plug straight into my PC, no amp or anything. But it was a lot of fun, and yeah, that's where I started. When did you start to play and listen to metal music? That was actually just before I borrowed the guitar from my friend in high school. Because that summer, me and an old friend of mine, we were playing Diablo 2 and cranking up the music. And after a while, he was just like, Martin, I think you're gonna like this band. And he put on Nightwish, and I believe the song was Keenslayer. And I remember I was just so blown away. It's like, this is fucking awesome. And remember, at that time, I'd never listened to metal or rock at all, actually. So, or at least not intentionally. So yeah, and after that, it was all metal. Number 3, where are you from? I'm from Norway, and I grew up in a little place called Sande, which is basically just a town you drive past on your way to other places. But I like it. I have a few questions. Can you make Jaina theme patch music cover? It's from WoW. As for all the great suggestions you guys are giving me for other songs I can cover, please keep them coming. I'm writing every single one down and listening to them. But at the moment I'm making so few covers that I have to pick the ones I make very carefully. But know that I'm listening, and I'm really grateful for your contribution. Where are you from, and do you have a job apart from music? If you do, how do you manage to do everything? I am actually privileged enough to be working with music full time. Since my main job is a producer here in the studio, which is called Norsk Lydstudio, or Norwegian Sound Studios if you like. This room is actually just a part of a bigger complex. So even when I don't have any clients, I still go here every morning and work on the covers. So I consider myself exceptionally lucky that way. Next one. What is your favorite band song you wish to make a cover of? I'm assuming you want to know which song from which game or movie I would cover, since I don't cover bands usually. That would probably have to be Final Fantasy VII. But you know, that's my favorite soundtrack of all time. It's the reason I'm here. So I'm approaching that one really carefully. On to the next one. First question. Do you use drum software? If so, what kind? Or do you use someone recorded drums? I'm using drum software. And the one I've been using for the last 5 years or so is Steven Slate drums, which I highly recommend. Second question. How do you get the amazing drum sound? Thank you for the compliment. I don't think there's a simple answer to that question. I use a lot of different plugins in a lot of different ways, mix samples and stuff like that. Maybe in the future I will make a video on how I approach the drum mixing. Next one. Have you been working alone with your YouTube channel? If yes, is it difficult to put out quality content? I do everything myself, except for filming the videos. Then I have a good friend of mine coming in who brings his camera and everything, and this, the cool slider thing I use in my videos. He's helping me for free right now. God bless the guy. If it weren't for him, my videos will probably still look like crap. So there we have it. As for quality content, yeah, I think it's difficult because you're always under the pressure of time, right? And you need to get stuff done and get it out. And I want to make the biggest productions I can make every time. And I don't want to compromise. Never. So yeah, it's always a bit of a struggle, but mostly because of the time limit. If I could do YouTube full time, which is my goal, then it'd probably be a lot easier. I'm curious about your studio. Please make a video tour into your studio and show us your equipment. Thanks for a great cover, I really like it. Thank you. I'm planning to do a studio tour sometime early next year, so keep an eye out. Any chance you're gonna show us a mixing session? What plugins do you use and your personal favorite EQ settings for guitars, etc.? Yeah, that definitely is a cool idea, and I have been thinking about doing that. It's just that it's a really new territory for me to do that kind of videos, so I would have to plan it out properly first. Maybe sometime in the future. Next question! Hey, first of all, I love your videos. Thank you. I have a few questions. Number 1, favorite band singer? That was a really tough one. Asking so many difficult questions, man. How am I supposed to answer this shit? You know, you would think such an easy question would be easy to answer, but it's not. So I will just mention a few on the top of my head. That would be Nightwish, Metallica, As I Lay Dying, Breaking Benjamin, Bull from Valentine, Five Finger Death Punch. You know, that's a few for you. As for singer, I would probably have to go with Marco Itala from Nightwish. Other would be Spencer Sotelo from Periphery or Ivan Moody from Five Finger. All are great, and when I listen to vocalists, I prefer to listen to how they express themselves and how they pronounce the words and, you know, do cool stuff like that, and not just the technical aspect. How long does it take to do a cover, and what is the process? That really depends on the original song, because let's take Nier Automata, Weight of the World, for example. It was really easy to translate into metal, because all the parts were nicely built together and it all worked in metal, and I can just make my own stuff on top, and I didn't have to change stuff around too much. On the other hand, you have the Invincible Arthur's My Son cover, which took probably a month of full-time work combined to get done, because so many parts in the original song just didn't work with the straight beat at all. So I had to like finick around a lot to get it all to fit. I spent like 4 hours on 10 seconds of music and stuff like that. The recording process takes the same amount of time anyways, but making the cover takes way more. 3. How did you get into metal, and did you listen to anything else before metal? The music I listened to before metal was mostly dance and trance from the early 2000s and late 90s. Yeah, so I actually did make music back then, and I still have those songs, and some are covers, and yeah, maybe one day we can take a look at them together, but today is not the day. Do you wipe while sitting or standing? You see, the trick is to wipe once, and then you stand up and, like, you know, bend your back a bit so you can really get under there, and then you wipe the rest, you know. Will you be increasing the amount of content you post up, as in like more songs, covers per month and such? That is the plan. Thing is though that I probably won't be able to make more than 2 covers a month, even if I work full time with YouTube. The reason being that they take so long to make, and I do not want to make any sort of compromise on the quality or anything just to make more videos and more covers. And I don't think that's what you guys want either. But I will be trying to add more content in between the videos, like this Q&A for example. And if I get even more effective in making these covers, I can make one more each month. Maybe an instrumental or something like that. How many guitars do you have? Which is your favorite? At the moment I only have 3 guitars and 1 bass. I got the Iron Label Ibanez 6-string baritone, which I use in most of my covers. And I got the 8-string Iron Label Ibanez. And I got the Epiphone Les Paul Korean made, I think. The red one, which I have customized with all this cool stuff. And I have the Spector Rebop bass. My favorite probably has to be the 6-string baritone. I mean, it's just killer to play on. It sounds awesome. And I love playing in low tunings, but only have 6 strings. It's really nice. What strings do you use? Do you have any favorite strings? I have been using Ernie Ball for many years. Recently though, I tried the Diodario strings on my baritone, mostly because they have a matching set with proper string gauges. Both have their advantages. I think Ernie Ball sounds way better out of the box, but loses their clarity faster than the Diodario ones. So yeah, both are good. And I still use Ernie Ball on bass exclusively. What guitar tuning is your favorite? I think that would have to be drop A, which is what my baritone is tuned in. I just like the chunky notes on the lower strings, and if you place the root note further up on the neck, just have the perfect range. You know what I mean? I still love the original standard E tuning and drop D as well, but I don't know, I feel I get more out of the drop A. As a fellow musician and gamer, I gotta ask, aside from the obvious, what inspiration do you draw from and what games do you play? I think that most of my inspiration comes from games, actually. Because I get so invested in the stories, the characters, the worlds that are created. And, when I'm done, I'm just so hyped up and I want to do something with this, And that's why I started to make these covers. And games are the reason I'm making music at all. I mean, if it hadn't been for Final Fantasy VII, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. As for which games I play, it varies a lot. I mean, I like everything from the RPG fantasy stuff to the JRPGs, horror games, first-person shooters, not so much in the recent years. The new Doom was awesome though. But I can't deny that my favorite type of game is fantasy games like The Witcher, Neverwinter Nights, World of Warcraft, sort of magic stuff. It's awesome. When did you start mastering and mixing songs in a studio environment? How difficult was it for you to learn it? Do you record all the instruments by yourself? How old are you? I guess like 28. I have been mixing and mastering in a studio environment for, well, since February, because before that I was just working out of the bedroom. It's only now that I started working here at Norsk Lydstudio I actually got my own room with good acoustic treatment and everything. And learning how to mix and master isn't that difficult. You just have to do it a lot, because you only get so far by watching tutorials and reading on the internet. You have to put all the skills to use and just try stuff. And don't feel restricted by what that tutorial said. Just twist and turn knobs, and eventually you will just, oh yeah, that's how this works, and then you will develop your own tricks to use. That's what I did, and my older mixes sound like crap. So, just start somewhere. Don't be too obsessed with making your first mixes and masters like perfect, because they're never gonna be. In a few years, you're gonna look back and you're gonna like, that was crap anyways. You're always gonna feel that, So just make something, make the best of what you have and what you learned, and move forward. I am recording everything myself, but I program the drums in Cubase, and the same goes for synth and orchestra. And I'm 30 years old.